So I'm gonna try this one more time. um, so yeah, I was like, I'm looking into. I was talking with my wife last night about things, you know, and I was trying to explain to her, trying to get her to see, because literally, the inversion. It's funny because I prayed very hard about being revealed as much as possible about the inversion, and it turns out it goes pretty deep. um, so and that's why people don't see it, because they're beyond the inversion. They don't see that the detrimental attributes of what they're doing. I was just explaining to my wife after I went over the previous video. I said, baby, you don't understand. I said it's not good to practice a holiday. God says not to start, like, it says it in the scripture, and it's the part of the scripture that makes sense, and it's a principle. It's telling you don't put anything up on a pedestal. There's no idolatry. I said, you don't understand the implications of that. If you put somebody up, it ends up you're putting them in place of something better, higher, on another plane. The priest. I said, you don't have to go to church. I said, getting up every day and going and being a part of the community and loving one another. That's church. And that's what people don't understand. That's what Christianity was about before. It's been destroyed for a long time. The real Christianity isn't in the church. That's why it's all flip-flop too. You got these people that think they're good Christians because they're practicing. But none of this is about. That's why it says there's nothing. It's not in the actual. It's not in the actions you're taking, guys. It's in the works. It's in your intention of what you want to bring into action and try to move towards and make a movement towards this, because we're in consciousness first, then physical. That's why it's a higher state. You're in a higher state of mind, but when you bring yourself down low and be humble, you can only achieve that. So therefore, there is the balance that you're putting yourself down to the level of everyone, and you're humbling yourself down below everyone. And that's part of inversion too, because by lowering yourself below everyone, like not below, but when putting yourself on an even plane with everyone, it's truly like that's that divine level of where everything's supposed to be. That's why it's important for people to, the principles of learning, respecting, like when we were, it's almost old school values, sadly to say, that we used to teach our kids to respect their elders and things, and it's like, it's easy to take that stuff for granted. But, in that's what I was bringing up with the holidays. So I said, babe, you can't, I said, you got to understand this. And she said, but it's fun. And I said, that's the point, babe. That's the dangerous part. You can't, that takes away from it. That's what makes it so horrible. It should be like that every day. And I said, what your problem is, you're closer to God than you know, because what she does is she basically buys gifts for her family every day. She's out shopping and nurturing and buying either clothing or this knick-knack and that knick-knack, and she's a full-time, she runs a full-time home. And I'm like, baby, that's what you do for a living, is you give your family gifts and take care of everybody. So you don't see it. But you because you do live your life like that, but most people don't, and then they practice these holidays. It's to create this illusion. It's bringing forth an illusion into this world of things being better than they are. So everybody can kind of clear their conscience and live with it, you know. So that was the whole basis on the happy holidays, and or are they? You know, because I felt it from a child. I felt it. I didn't like it. I saw the fakeness in it. You know, and how, you know, I would only participate when it was authentic. When I wanted to give my mom a beautiful ring with all the birthstones in it of all her children, or like, it's same with girlfriend. If I'm gonna buy like some piece of jewelry, or it's got to be authentic, you know. Like I don't. And I did a few times, a couple times. Yeah, I used to love doing that stuff, but like it doesn't. I would not do it on Valentine's Day. I do it on my time. Valentine's Day, yeah, I could participate and do some flowers or something, whatever. But it was like, half the time it was a pain in the butt. You got, because I'm busy working and putting my will and intention into, you know, I knew the work ethic was good. It was just, I was going in the direction of just rewarding myself at the end with a beer or something. It's just like, I figured out that I was living. It's because I was competing with that. I was putting myself in that world. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a rock star and play the drums, and I'm gonna, you know, and I almost, you know, best thing in my life, maybe the things I did actually kind of take it too seriously. Like I thought it was definitely gonna happen, so it was like I screwed around too much drinking and hanging out and stuff, and I didn't get with the serious musicians and go all the way. But it was like the best thing that ever didn't happen to me, because I mean, I had like bands on Warped Tour call me, email me, we heard about you. Lucid Fly was one of the bands from LA. They gave me an email, and I was like, had license problems and stuff at the time, and I couldn't go. They had a really great female vocalist. I think they're still touring, or have a few albums out there. They've been around for a long time. Lucid Fly. Henry Susie, they emailed me, man. Henry Susie, 2002 old email or something, man. And I was like, had license problems, and they were like needing a drummer on Warped Tour. Like, best thing that didn't happen to me. Because if I had all the money and I never would have got my priorities straight and things straight, now I value my life so much. And I realize what a mission of destruction I was on the whole time. And I'm just sharing that with everybody, you guys. You got to realize the severity of your day-to-day actions if you disregard how important they are. And that comes with, like, they sell us this afterlife stuff, but then you don't even treat it with any importance. I think what happened to me was when I got faced with death, and like I knew I was definitely gonna end up like this like, you know, like I'm just like, oh my god, I faced death, you know, and it clicked something, and it set me on this path, and I kept digging and digging and digging and digging and digging because I had nothing else, and it pulled me up out of some horrible times after my mother passed away and everything. I mean, I almost drank myself to death, I think. I really look back on that. I think I almost drank myself to death at one point. Like, nearly could have just fell asleep and not wanted to wake up or something. It was crazy. The depression you go through when you lose a part of yourself like that is tough to get through. So that's why I do things on this channel. Also, guys, I want to bring attention to you when you look at what you're doing, your actions in everyday life, and you're following this, just doing what's expected of you type of stuff, in the holidays and everything. You See where your will and intent is wandering around in there. If you're just thinking the whole time you'd rather be alone or not doing it or something, be careful what you wish for and where your heart's intent and will is, because that's what you might get, you know? Like, we experience time, right? Time is a dimension that we experience on Earth. And even Einstein said this. So, it, in the other round, you know, it might pass on, it might be timeless. You know, you see the sun and the moon, it's like, it shows you we're living in the middle in this, we're supposed to find balance here between the past and the future. And if the heart and intent and what you will and you're trying to bring into your life is what you're going to get. And if you're doing something day to day and your mind is somewhere else, make sure it's not in just wishing you were somewhere else. I mean, make sure it's in searching for truth or something. That's what I'm doing all day, every day. Because I used to just wander and listen to mindless music and that just perpetuates, like when they come in with some news story on mainstream media, right? They pump in this just mind control crap. I stopped watching TV almost like a decade ago. But they hit you with some story and it relates to the music you're listening to and everything. And you buy into it, hook, line, and sinker. You know? And all that, you know, NASA and the flat earth stuff, like, it's a national security issue for them to tell us anything. Like 100% of that stuff is all misinformation. They can't just tell you some actual valid information and then hide some of it, because then you'd clearly just use what you have and with teams, and you'd what's it called? You use your they call it when with like supposedly what's it called? I'm wasting time in my video, my memory's running out. Engineering, they can like back engineer that, you know, in a way. So you got to realize that, guys. They can't give us anything that's true. That's how they control everything. They figure everything out, and then they drum up a big story of everything and where they can head with it and how they can benefit from it, and then they run with that. You can't tell you what's actually going on, and I feel sad for, you know, that we're in a world that's what it's like. You know, we live in a world to where actually it gives me hope to see flat earth. And then I noticed the Mandela effect stuff happening in the early 90s, but then when it officially came out and I noticed it online is when I really hit it aggressively, and I haven't stopped doing my research for the past like 7-8 years now. So because there's something to it. Because it was funny because I noticed it as a child in the mid 90s, and then I hear about it, and then there's all this stuff coming out. So I really think, and then do the math, guys. They're placing in this hardware to do this 5G technology. They're about to roll some huge thing out, guys. The whole world's going to change pretty soon. So I hope you guys are opening your eyes, waking up, and getting ready. If you can, like, subscribe, and share. I'll talk at you later. Bye.